Hello everyone, thank you for watching Mad Trucks with Marcos. Today we have one of the very first 2017 Shelby F150s. It's a really special truck, it's really cool. We've seen some of the Shelbys before. So we're gonna go over some of the upgrades that they do on them, and they do have a couple little horsepower things that are available this year that were not available last year. So we're gonna go ahead and check those out. Alrighty guys, so with this one we are going to start right away with the horsepower. Before I get too far into it, I do want to remind you, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. And if you want to see any of these vehicles on our website, you can see that at kunescountrytrucks.com. Okay, so horsepower on this truck. So it does have the Shelby name on it. So you can't really offer something like that with a stock powertrain. It is available that way, but most of the people that have purchased these did want the supercharger on them. So it does have Shelby's 2.9 liter supercharger. It's a really nice unit. It is a twin scroll setup. And basically it jams a lot of air. It uses this belt here that's driven off the engine. And it uses that to spin the scrolls inside. And basically it shoves a bunch of air right into the engine. And that's why they call it the forced induction. So really nice to have the supercharged engine. You get a lot more horsepower you get horsepower a little more easily than you would without it, just building the engine. And of course the sound on the supercharger is awesome. But yeah, so when you add more air to it, on this one they had to let the air out. So it does have their exhaust system on it. Really nice setup. You definitely get the noises you want out of this truck. It's definitely gonna sound aggressive, but at the same time, when you're on the highway at 70 miles an hour, you're not gonna have any drone. So what that means is you're still gonna be able to use your cell phone. You can talk to your passenger, no problem, if you wanna talk about something. So it's really nice to have that exhaust. And the other thing they have to do is get more fuel inside of the engine. So they do have, I believe in this one, new injectors, fuel rail. They pretty much go through the fuel system and they have to upgrade it just to be able to handle the massive amounts of fuel that the engine now requires. If you think about it, this truck started off with like 385 horsepower from Ford. It's the 5 liter. So to get it up to, in this one, it's actually 750 horsepower. It's pretty incredible. You're basically getting twice the amount of horsepower out of it almost as what you did from the factory. So really cool the upgrades they do. And then this one, so most of Shelby's, the supercharged ones come at 700 horsepower. This one does have the 750 horsepower package. So the way they do that is they go down a size in the pulley, in the supercharger pulley. When they make it smaller, it can spin the stuff inside a little faster. Basically just puts more air in it, and then they have to recalibrate the computer, obviously, to be able to work with that. And then the one other thing I want to show you guys is on the side here. So a lot of times people add horsepower and don't really pay attention to other stuff. Traction was a big thing, going from the 700 horsepower just to 750. So they actually have an upgraded traction bar setup. It's really nice. Basically what that does is it prevents any type of axle hop that we would get from a hard launch. It just keeps the rear axle nice and planted, and you can put that power down a little easier and a little less nerve-wracking than you would have before. So really nice that they added that extra horsepower, but they didn't just do that. They did upgrade the traction as well. And yeah, and part of the horsepower is the tires. We'll talk about that later, but we do have the KO2s, which can handle this power. So yeah, if you want a truck that has a ton of horsepower, the Shelby is absolutely the way to go. And then, you know, if you contact us and say you want the 750 horsepower package, we can definitely get with them and get that on your truck. Alrighty guys, so we're going to talk about the suspension a little bit. Obviously, you know, I talked a little bit about adding traction, but on any of the Shelbys, whether it's supercharged or not, they do upgrade it to, it's a Fox coilover suspension. Having the coilovers on the front, especially these Fox ones that have, you can really tune it in exactly how you want it. And I don't know exactly what it's called, but it has like a dual stage valve in it. So basically at low speeds, the shock's gonna perform completely different than it will at high speeds. That's gonna allow it to feel like it's, you know, made for everything. But when Shelby, when we get it from the factory, obviously they tune it for the street. So it's really nice, very planted on the road. Even with that much horsepower, you don't really feel squirrel. I mean, it does get squirrely if you're, you know, at a stop or whatever, but if you get on it and you're rolling, you know, it feels very planted. She just squats down. The suspension kind of stabilizes everything and the truck just goes. So yeah, it does have the internal bypass. That just is gonna give us more travel in our shock. Excuse me. So really cool to have that. So coilovers on the front. This truck, I would say, is lifted about 4 inches. This isn't necessarily like a lift kit, so it's hard to go, you know, a 3-inch or a 4-inch or a 6-inch, but I would say this is probably about equivalent to like a 4-inch lift. The coilovers on the front are adjustable, so you could dial that in if you wanted. And then I want to point out in the back, it does also have the internal bypass shocks on the rear. So basically the whole suspension is going to be working together to absorb any bumps and then to also keep the power going to the ground. So yeah, a lot of people they like the horsepower a lot on this truck, but you know, the horsepower is going to make you love it, but what's going to be able to let you drive it every day is going to be the suspension. All right guys, so we are going to talk about the wheel and tire package that's on this truck. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, it does have a KO2 on it. So BF Goodrich, they've been making all-terrain tires for a very long time. They're very good at it. The new KO2, it's really nice. This particular one is 35 inches tall. It's 12.5 inches wide. And then the Shelby wheels are 18-inch wheels. Nice thing about having the smaller wheel on these trucks, I know, you know, pretty much the standard now is 20s, and people really, they run all the way up, you know, to 26, 28 crazy sizes on here. But when you have that smaller wheel and a little bigger tire, it's going to make the suspension's job a little easier. You know, it's going to absorb some of the bumps right in the tire so the suspension doesn't even have to worry about it. So it is nice, but then with the horsepower, it is nice to have a tire that'll actually, you know, on a dry day, stick pretty good for an all-terrain tire. That's the reason that, you know, this tire is on this truck. It's going to perform really well if you go off-road. It's also going to be able to handle the horsepower that this truck puts down on-road. And yeah, like I mentioned, the aluminum 18-inch wheel from Shelby, it's really nice. It has the beadlock look to it, which is great for an off-road style wheel. And then it does have the Shelby engraving in the lip, which is really nice. And then it does have the Shelby brake caliper covers all the way around. Just a nice touch to have a little red in there, and it just kind of makes it pop a little bit. Alrighty guys, so on the body, you know, that's the nice thing about having the Tuscany help with Shelby and then doing this together, because Tuscany, they have a lot of experience doing the body work on these trucks. So this hood is a custom-made hood, really nice. This is actually a functional ram intake. So it pulls the air in here and it pulls it right into the cold air induction system. Really nice to have that. So it looks cool, but it does actually work. Most hoods on trucks nowadays, you know, if you see a vent, it's probably not doing anything, but this one does, so that's really cool. In the grill, so the same mesh style stuff, the honeycomb stuff that you have up here, they have it in the grill as well. It looks really nice, especially with the color. You know, this is a really nice color. The dark gray has been really popular. People like it. So it's nice, kind of matches well. And then it goes down into the lower bumper. But yeah, I will also say that these headlights, they don't do anything from them. That's something that Ford does, but it's a great headlight setup, and they definitely look really cool at night, or even when you have the running lights on. It does add to the look of the vehicle. So cool there, some Shelby badging. We have the front camera. This truck does have cameras all the way around. It's got the bird's eye view inside. So it's got the front camera here and then a couple under the mirrors and then one in the back as well. So moving along to the side, wheel flares. Wheel flares are really nice because they serve a couple different functions. One, they look nice when you're putting a bigger wheel and tire on it. It's usually bringing it out farther, so if you want to keep the flush look, the wheel flare is going to be the easiest way to do that. But it's also going to protect the side of the body from anything that this tire is going to throw up. This truck does have a lot of horsepower, so when it's off-road, you give it a little gas, it is going to throw stuff up. So really nice to have that. This is going to absorb the majority of the stuff that's going to be thrown up at the truck. So we have some Shelby badging here. This is also a functional vent. That's an air release vent. So the air that goes in there, it's just a place for it to release so it doesn't get bottled up in there. So it's cool they have their Shelby logo on that. On the side here, you see the Shelby logo again, just kind of like you don't see it right away. That's why I think it's kind of cool. It's like a shadow logo, but yeah, they have the matte black line here. They have the two on the top, and then they have the matte one here with the Shelby cutout. It's really nice. It doesn't stick out too much because the truck's dark gray. So just a really nice little touch. So for the running boards, this does have the Shelby running boards. Really nice getting up into a truck like this, and then it's nice to have that tube style running board on there. A lot of people really like that look. So nice job there. Matching wheel flares on the back to match the style that are on the front. So we have some Shelby badging here, and then we have this tonneau cover, which if you look at the fit and finish, it fits perfectly. It's really nice. And then when you lift it up, they have the matting on the inside of the bed. That's a really nice touch. Everything in here stays nice and dry. So you can really treat this like a trunk of a vehicle if you wanted to. But yeah, tonneau cover is nice. It has the Shelby badges on it as well. And then yeah, the stripes, they go on the hood, the roof, onto the tonneau cover, back onto the tailgate. Really cool look. If it's a Shelby, you gotta have the stripes on it. And then the last thing that does finish up the look on the back is gonna be the exhaust. Really nice, the factory bumper already had the cutouts for the duals, so the duals, they fit perfectly in there. And it just gives it a little bit more of an aggressive stance. Alrighty guys, so on the interior, this did start out as pretty much a fully loaded F-150. So it has all the heated seats, all the bells and whistles as far as the safety features are concerned. It has adaptive cruise, that kind of stuff. The big sunroof, navigation, and then what Shelby did, so it has the Shelby headrests, which are a really nice touch. Have their logo in them, and then you have a nice plate right in the center console, which is really nice. It's kind of cool looking with the Cobra on it and the 750 horsepower. And then it's got your plate on the dash. So this truck is number 28. So it's cool to have a low number. It's been a really popular truck, so they go pretty quick. So the fact that we have number 28, we're really excited about that. So yeah, on the inside, it's gonna have everything you could expect in a luxury pickup truck. Alrighty folks, so I hope you enjoyed the video on the Shelby F-150. We are gonna have a bunch of them coming through, so please don't hesitate to give us a call and find out what we have available. I don't know if we can still order, but if there's something specific that you want, if it's possible, we'll definitely make sure it happens. So thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Have a great day.